So let me introduce some speakers. Teodor Sigaev is not a new one. It's hard to say that he's a new speaker. Teodor Sigaev is one of the main developers. Was a bit professional. And Dmitry Belyavskiy will tell us how L3 will be extended and implemented. Oh, we have made it better. It's one of the extending progress that hasn't been valued that much, so we need to learn more about it. My name is Dmitry Belyavskiy. Do the state cryptography, so basically I use the language C for all the crypto programs, and meanwhile I'll try to get into open source projects written on C language and sometimes on Perl. And now I'm going to tell you about the current outsource project that I've been involved in together with Teodor Sigaev. He was a mentor. I was extending the syntax for the extension of L3. What is L3? Is anyone familiar with L3, or maybe you read something about it? Well, I see we have many people. This is the extension to support our hierarchy structure. In L3 format, you can represent some list of literals that are linked with a dot, and when converted into internal version with the dots, it's being divided, and separate token can be indexed and then look for this data through these indexes. So this is L3 data. There are three types of queries: LXT query and L3 query, that help us to look for the paths. L3 is the path in the tree, not only in the tree, but also in any oriented graph can be put into this. Sometimes it will not maybe look so good, but still, if we do not have the cycles, that's fine. And then look up in a natural way. And the original view that we have, and that's been applied with Oleg and Fyodor, that been offered, it's quite a useful extension. It's a useful extension, but at the same time it has some limitations. So if you look at some real hierarchy slides, that's the classifier from the library. You see the dots, you see the blanks, you see some Russian letters. The support of the Russian letters has been implemented quite long ago, but the dots and the blanks limits this extension, this useful extension, and this is why we need to we want to extend the syntax. You cannot just extend it because you need to keep the connection with a long-term history. This is when we've discussed it with Fyodor, and we came up with a syntaxes with two variants. First of all, we have post-progress escaping and with a backslash, with the help of backslash, and then with the support of the escaping tradition when you take something into the brackets. And this syntaxes is taken mostly from the lines arrow arrays. And this is why we brought the syntax in L3. When we take the symbols and keeping the token, and when we turn into the internal into external, we look if we need anything to escape, if the some flags, so some special symbols for text query, and few. It's not maybe so actual for L3, but it still exists. And then we give the line as is, or wrap it into the brackets, and we need to escape the internal brackets anyways. After we had this technical task, we proceeded to the development. The development was very iterative. First, we tried to not to use the brackets, and then further insisted on using the brackets because it has to be useful for the user. Uh, I didn't do it on purpose, but it's very useful for the programmer. For plotting, this is the simple situation with L3, with text query, LT query. The internal structure is a bit complex. We have step machine, and in initial version we can wait for some sort of literal flag or as a part of the path, or we expect to have the classifier, and based on that we look at the number of symbols, available symbols. When implementing the escaping, we needed to have two more states. First state we implemented in order to pay attention that the next symbol is going to escape, so without checking the syntax. And the second state is when some opening bracket existed and with the lateral, and now it is closed. Literal is finished and nothing will be there until except for the blanks that we will ignore. First of all, it allowed us to not to use some embedded classes of the symbols, and in L3 we can embed it any symbol we like. For that we had to pay the price. If we use the symbols and alphabet and digital symbols, we could use the MSP with serialization. Then we need to look if there is something that we need to wrap in the brackets, or if there is something that we need to escape. Thus, instead of MSPE, we call up the symbol copying, and as the measure safety measure, we make sure that we copied as many symbols and bytes that we plan to. This is about the internal code. When I started to solving this problem, I knew that I need to, with Postgres and my machine at home, I had to make it everything on my own, and I was not so happy about it because I didn't know how much time it would take. And it's because when you develop some additions to the Postgres main file, helps you to specify the parameter of combination from the installation that is set up on your system. That is why when you make the command make compile install, and afterwards you set up the text and you see what has fallen out. This is the process of writing and testing. That the testing of writing took more time than the writing of IC code itself, and some corner cases that I could follow. So roughly speaking, from the patch, two-thirds are the tests out of the volume of scope of the scope of work. If you didn't get the understanding of the make check, you can use the standard instruments, dbinder, for instance, because I developed the BDB, you do the SQL, and you do the attach, and then you go step by step, GDB attach. As a result of all the iteration, it was 3-4 times that I visited. The Fedor had basically we solve all the problems with syntaxes, and now this patch is represented at the resources column fast. So if those of you who can review it, I'll be very thankful to you. It's very interesting for us to see the process of submitting a touch. It's how much it is different from what I've done with XPSL.
On the bottom you can see this link on the results. You can use it, you can review it and test it, and as a matter of fact I'd like to finalize it with expressing my gratitude to Fyodor for joining me in working with Postgres. I thank my family for big patience during a few weekends and some part of the holidays. And well, thanks to all the guys who claimed for syntax limitations that we handled this task. Thank you very much. I'd like to add and support a little bit. Everyone understands that syntax extension is a good thing, and those who've been using it, they face this problem, but why the dot shouldn't be placed there or a dash, and Dima corrected it all very successfully. But there are two things which I should warn you about. There is an incompatibility. We can't say that we 100% are able to read what was before, and we are 100% able to read new things. Where are these incompatibility? If someone wrote an application which thinks that some Postgres will not go and produce an error, and will tell you use a normal name and not this name, and now it will not come to an error. Now you can get rid of it. We implicitly eliminated this incompatibility due to the extended syntax. Second thing, suddenly you won't see it much, but you can make a spotted benchmark. If previously Dmitry already mentioned NMCPy, we just copied the tag and placed it. Now we can consider it byte by byte. Once we did it every time, basically, but now we have this two-way algorithm. Until you have short tags, it would be hard to find it out in your activities. If long, then you can do it, but nothing happens free of charge. Have I scared you? Are you now scared? No. Okay. Your questions? Any questions? Any answers, claims, desires? It would be good to insert 3D objects. That's true. How did you break the reverse compatibility if you copy the symbols? If previously you had them tabbed with quotation marks, Postgres would argue. Now it would swallow it and digest it. One more funny place in the development course when we thought what to do with empty lines, because an empty line in L3 is available, but whether it's possible to make empty literals, at some point empty literals appeared and we had to tear them off somehow. Yes, we used to have this problem. We got rid of empty literals just on the grounds of the problem of the multiples. Those who know the problem of multiples know how painful is this and not obvious is this. Whether every tag contain an empty tag. Just not to guess, we gave an answer in a way that we just restricted the use of empty tags. Do you have plans to make an opportunity to provide custom separators similar to what you've done for 2TS vector function with two arguments? The first one is based on the dictionary and then it's immutable and can index it. And if do not do it in forms of delimiter, you can make a function which uses some hook and it is stable and it will allow to use the way how to store ways, how to store paths. Look, there is a difference. If in the full text search 2ts vector is not determined by separators, then you can't understand what is a word, what is not. The configuration can give you the information, what is indexed, what's not, what is the word, what is not. And with the separators in LTREE, there are some problems. There are some unpleasant things. You ask about a separator, a pipe instead of the comma. A pipe has a special symbol in L query and txt query. And the second question is, what shall we place it with a dot or with a pipe? Okay, we can make a setting. With a setting, then it would be painful, because this setting should be able to place in pgdump, because pgdump will not take the module setting on default. So you made it with a pipe, it prints very good, but pgdump is returned with a dot, whether it's good or not. But we make pgdump do some stupid things. Maybe we can place some standard format for it. Unfortunately, there's no way to make the extension would do something stupid with it, and thank God we can't do it so far. It's quite fair, thank you. I have a feeling that when we will win over the attribute options and we'll be able to make custom options for attribute and web class, we will be able to place some customized separator. Customized separator should be stored in internal structures at minimum. It's about different. In pgdump, it's a separate extension. It goes to the base, grabbing also cluster operator option if necessary. And at the same time, at this moment, the module cannot be connected, and it should know that it should address this module and learn something. That's not an operator, it's the input-output syntaxes. And in general, it's not a good idea. Postgres has an experience. Have you worked with byte array? Have only one? 2 persons, 3. So if I tell you something which is not clear, will you share them? Byte is just array. There are no restricted symbols. Restricted symbols should be backslashed, but that's not the fact. By the way, this setting shows how it should be brought up and how it should be readable. It can be in hexadecimal mode, in the heptadecimal. Well, if there was a period when it was not taken into account, you make pgdump, you succeed, and you even pour it in this instance, but next door you make another instance, it brings up a syntax error for you. Why? Because they were different in settings, how to return the setting. But this setting was not translated by pgdump, it's being stored in dump, but please pay attention. Many people like text form, because you can use a mouse, you can pull up one table and populate it, but you suddenly can face the problem that the whole dump is being populated, but part of it, when you bring it up, is missing. So this is because of the use of these mysterious settings. They are being described in the beginning of pgdump, and you can take them into account and know what to be focused on. Now I scared you. No microphone. Okay, then thank you very much for your attention. That was all.